When do kids stop getting sick all the time? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, and child development and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about childhood sickness. It may seem like your child is sick again and again and again, and you may be wondering if there is ever any light at the end of this tunnel. There is. I've raised 4 children of my own, plus I've done therapeutic treatment care for other children, and I've been working with families with children for many, many years. So what do I know about sickness? We're going to talk about why they get sick, what I know, the stages of development and sickness, and then we're going to talk about what you can do to hopefully help them not be as sick, or if they are, how to manage it a little bit better. So let's talk about childhood development a little bit. Is it normal for young children to get sick? Yes. Is it normal for anybody to get sick? Yes. We all get sick periodically. That's actually our body just working through all the new germs and bugs and mutations in the environment around us all of the time. But do young children get sicker more often? Yes, they usually do. And there are multiple reasons for that. One reason is they have to build up that immunity to all the things around them. So we've been through that bug before. It comes by, it doesn't faze us at all, but it gets them because they haven't had it before. So now they have to build up an immunity to that flu and that new virus or thing. Now, bacterial things, those are different, right? Why do children get so many bacterial things? Well, because they're touching their faces and their noses and their eyes and their mouths and things all the time. Even when they're like 5 years old, they still sometimes are sticking their hands in their mouth, sucking on their lips, putting toys in their mouths or things they find on the ground, old pennies and stuff like that. It's kind of disgusting if you think of it, but it's just part of being a child. They test things out, oftentimes orally, and they don't wash their hands as often as they should. And sometimes we don't even supervise that as good as we should, and so then they get sick. So as a parent, we may think we're washing our hands, we're doing everything that we can to keep this house clean and tidy. How come in this clean home with a clean parent, the child is getting sick? Well, maybe the child isn't being clean. Maybe the child is touching all kinds of things on the pets or outside or whatever it is, and they're putting their hands in their eyes and nose and mouth, and they just keep getting new bugs, new bugs. This is where not only the viruses, but the bacterial things come in. And when they're with other children, especially if they're in like daycare or something like that, there's going to be sickness coming in all the time. I know that at church we had a little nursery for little children. When my children were little babies, little toddlers, we'd take the child to nursery so that I could go to my parent class. And inevitably, it was like, every couple of weeks, my child would come back from the nursery with some new sickness. And I'm like, oh, here we go again. I started wondering if I should really take my child to the nursery or if I should just handle them in the adult class with everybody else, because that almost seemed like the safer way, because I thought, well, the adults are probably well. It's the little kids that can't keep the bacteria under control, right? And even though the teachers in that nursery class were wiping things down, the toys, the tables, the everything, you know what? Just children, they just don't have the boundaries. So this is why they get sick all the time. Is there a stage where it ends? Yeah, there's a stage where it gets a lot better. We can't say sickness ever ends because we all get it, even when we're older, right? But there is a stage where it definitely gets better. And it's right around the age 7 or 8. Suddenly it's like, oh, we finally came out of this. Okay, I remember when I had an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and then I had a 2-year-old and a baby. And I was going to the pediatrician's office all the time. Ear infections, eye infections, sinus infections, colds, flus, all the things. I just kept going in. Okay, we got another infection because it won't stop, and here we are. And oh, that was so hard. I thought, am I ever not going to be here in a week. I was going in there every single week, I felt like, to see the doctor for one or the other of them. That was really frustrating. Then suddenly we just kind of graduated out that. So my 8-year-old stopped getting sick as much. He started seeing like, oh, okay, well, I need to be more conscious about my hand washing. I see how that might make a difference. Or suddenly it's not as appropriate to put your finger in your nose when you're 8. You recognize other people around you are noticing more because you're noticing more about other people. There starts to be an awareness there. The child has a social awareness. So they do less touching of the face. Usually you can tell them also, don't touch your eyes, otherwise you could get an eye infection or you could get a sickness. And they go, oh, and they actually remember. They can take that information and use that information. Usually also by that time is right around when they've just kind of been inoculated with all those childhood things that everybody has to get in order to, finally say, okay, I did it. I'm not going to be that person that gets sick anymore. So what do you do to help the child not get as sick? Well, we've touched on a few things already. Teach them to wash their hands. Teach them about not touching their eyes and stuff. But how do you really get them to not do it without like nagging and begging all the time and getting emotional about it? Well, don't get emotional. Let's be calm. At the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a Calm Parenting Toolkit. I'll give it to you for free. Okay, and that will help you with your calmness, with your self-government, because after all, that's what this channel is about. If you have already subscribed to this channel before, then you know I teach skills on this channel. A lot of very helpful skills of self-government for parents and for children, really for anyone, because self-government is a principle. It's not just a parenting thing. It's something to live by, and the skills of self-government truly are for everyone. So one of the skills of self-government that's going to be very helpful to help a child so that they don't get sick as often is the skill accepting no answers. So in my TSG parenting course, I teach parents how to teach their children self-government. And there are 4 basic skills that we often talk about. These children's books each teach one of the 4 basic skills of self-government. The 4 basic skills of self-government are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. So let's talk about accepting no answers and criticism, because that is very important. If your child is going to avoid sickness, they have to know where the boundaries are that they don't cross over. So boundaries include things like touching eyes and nose and mouth and stuff, touching dirty things, right? Dirty diapers, whatever. They need to know that there are certain things that they don't touch. And when someone is sick, that they don't go near that person. Those are all no answers that they can learn. There are 4 steps to accepting a no answer that you can teach your child that can be very helpful so that they can learn that. Now, in order to remember to do those no answers on a regular basis, because they have a young brain, you're probably going to need to do pre-teaching. Pre-teaching is one of the 5 parent skills that I teach in the TSG parenting course, where you prepare the child ahead of time for success. So make sure that you give them a good prep that helps them want to choose to accept that no answer. So then there's this book here, London LaRae Says Okay. This teaches following instructions. Following instructions is the basic of all of the 4 basic skills. If a person cannot or will not follow instructions, you actually cannot parent them. So this is our skill that we want to use as our go-to for not getting into sickness situations. How do we help the child with the following instruction skill? Well, we instruct them to wash hands after certain things, right? When you go to the bathroom, afterward, wash your hands. If I'm asking you to take this dirty diaper to the garbage, if you ever throw anything away in the garbage, wash your hands. When we're in the doctor's office and there's a sick area and a well area, stay in the well area. That's an instruction. So there are 5 steps to following an instruction. You look at the person or the situation, you keep a calm face, voice, and body, you say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, you do the task immediately, and then you check back. So if you can teach your child proactively all 5 steps to following instructions, then in the moment pre-teach them, hey, here's a time you need to follow instructions. And this is the instruction that you need to follow. And then they're going to check back to you afterward. You can praise them for that afterward. But also if they don't follow the instruction, now you can do a correction. If you're correcting your child every time they don't follow instructions, then guess what? Your child is more likely to follow the instruction in the first place. And if those instructions lead to better health, they are going to hopefully get sick less often. But let's just be realistic about something. Your children are going to get sick. At one point or another, they've got to go through all those sicknesses, whether they're an adult or whether they're a child. So one thing that we need to do as parents is accept the no answer when our child gets sick. It's frustrating, it's a burden, we may miss work or other social engagements. We have to wake up in the night maybe. There's lots of things that we have to do, but we need to embrace it. Sometimes we get no answers as parents. Sometimes we wish something could be something different. But when they're sick, that is what it is. We need to look at that situation, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say, okay, that's how it is, and then just drop the subject. Stop thinking about it. Let it go. Work on your own calmness. So this brings me to my free gift. I said at the end of the video there would be one, remember? Here's my free gift. There is a Calm Parenting Toolkit on my website that has 10 tools for calmness. It's a great starter course for self-government. It's definitely not the full course. It's like a mini, but it does teach all about calmness, which will be really great for you and is a perfect beginning. So in the description below this video, there's a link that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. Click on the link right now and you can have the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. We'll see you there.